stay true to the streets.
That's another part of it, but I find it. Go ahead. Oh shit, we got King Noble on. Noble, what up?
What's going on with you?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much. I see you dipped in, so I wanted to give you an opportunity to chime in. I know you be speaking on this subject matter, so.
Well, I just caught the I just chimed in on the show. I just actually got in, so you might have to bring me up to speed.
D, talk with him.
What we talking about is the government infiltration. I mean the white supremacist infiltration of the government agencies. We didn't want to talk about the infiltration of the ATF with the good old boy roundups, and we the Secret Service. We talked about the Iran Contra and the white supremacist element within the CIA. We even broke down the FBI report on the white supremacist infiltration of law enforcement.
Yes, sir. Not profound. And then to the white supremacy's infiltration within the black conscious community, or the black nationalist Pan-Africanist community, which we see going on right now, is a mentality. Sometimes we just think that it's this particular agent or this particular, informant, but it's also a mentality where we are addicted to supporting the institution of white supremacy. It's a pathology to be loyal to the institutions and infrastructures of white supremacy. So while one may not be a direct agent, his behavioral patterns and tendencies leads him towards supporting the institutions and being against the revolution. You follow what I'm saying?
Yep.
He's not a direct agent getting a check, but he's so loyal to white supremacy that he works for the system subconsciously and inadvertently. He still works for the end game and the agenda of white supremacy. And I think that's what's affecting our community. Because a lot of times in people's heart, they think they are doing the right thing. We're trying to attack leadership and be overcritical, you follow, and destroy our institutions. They think in their heart they're doing the right thing. But subconsciously, they're an agent of white supremacy because they're using their energy to tear down what we have worked so hard to build and the momentum that we have tried to create within the conscious community and the conscious spectrum of the black society.
Do you think this is a ploy that they're doing by sending their agents in and allowing them to bullshit the community and make bullshit of a platform or whatever?
I honestly think that it's on autopilot now. It's on autopilot. It's like if you go to the system of capitalism and you see their different businesses and you walk up in them and they have this racism towards you, they're on autopilot. They're not directly working against black consciousness, black nationalism, or Pan-Africanism. They're not directly doing that. It's subconscious. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's ingrained within them to be against that.
Yeah, so let's take it to the conscious community a little bit, because I had in the black media on yesterday, and I was talking with Oh God and Sodomai, and you may be aware that we had Lex Lee Vortex over here talking to him about your statement that raping black women was revolutionary. If I'm quoting you right, let me know. If not, then you can correct me and we could deal with it from the correct standpoint.
Yes, sir.
So,
and I'm glad you brought that up, because KRS just said something deep that I agree with. The infallibility of black leadership, that we must understand and support the idea of the infallibility of black leadership, because you're not going to agree with every black person. No, every black person is not going to agree, period. We're all going to agree on some things and we're going to disagree on some things. But with our agreements and our disagreements based on our ideologies, each one of us has something profound to bring to the table. And a lot of times we throw the baby out with the bathwater. We think because we don't agree with this person on these particular ideologies, whether it be dietary or lifestyle or these concepts, because we don't agree with each other, we throw out the good that we bring to the table. We can't disagree in a very civilized and respectful manner and still work together on how we can build and progress our community. I think that's a greater problem than any controversial statement that somebody can make within the conscious community, whether it be rape is revolutionary or whether it be any statements that somebody could make. Because what somebody can contribute is greater than any statement that could possibly be made that an individual can disagree with or agree with. Go ahead.
I kind of feel you on that, because when Polite came out and said, okay, y'all might think Malachi Z. York is a child molester, and you know, I support him still. He's my God, he's my father, he's this, that, my spiritual leader and stuff. People still accepted Polite for what he, quote unquote, brought to the table and what he done took the game with the, you know, commerce and consciousness. So his contributing to their financial being outweighed all of the stuff that people see as negative and stuff. So I know you're not doing that, because that's the capitalism that you fight against. But let's just
even with Polite.
Hold up, let's
even
just back
with Polite, he was used by many of scamming people, right? That doesn't take away from Polite's contribution to the upliftment of the consciousness of black people, because we disagree with his business or his business methodologies. That's not going to throw out everything else that Covenant brought to the table, but we can criticize and disagree, make some arguments, and investigate some of his business, you know, affairs, and try to push for more integrity in that area. But that doesn't mean we're going to throw out Polite and everything that New Covenant has brought to the table. Dr. Malachi Z. York brought us an independent community, making their own clothes and money, printing their own books, speaking over 400 languages, creating his own culture from scratch. We're going to throw that out because he had some because of some allegations or some different type of cultural framework that he had on that land? I'm not going to do it.
Well, let's backtrack some, because I want to deal with that statement itself for a sec, because the community haven't really, I don't believe they really heard you speak on it since you made it, you know, however many months or years ago you made that. So could you take us back to that moment when you made that statement and how you looked at it, because Lex Lee Vortex was trying to speak on it, and other people trying to speak on it.
He did a good job. Lex Vortex did an excellent job with his analysis of that video. He got hung up in some certain areas. I heard your particular debate you had with him about the video. It's all how you look at rape. When I say rape is an act of revolutionary, rape itself is ambiguous. Okay, are you dealing with rape from a legal perspective? Are you dealing with rape from a biblical perspective? Rape is to consensually, when you have non-consensual sex with somebody else, right? But even consensuality is ambiguous, because you could be in a relationship with somebody and you're in a sexual situation with them and the person is saying no, but you assume that it's yes, or it's unclear on what the no or what the signs are, and you could be that person for 4 years, and that may be somebody still can consider it to be rape. You could slip somebody in their drink, slip something in somebody's drink, and they say, well, that, you know, you raped that person. You follow? You take a person and slip nothing in their drink and they just get drunk. You just get them real drunk and you still go ahead and have sex with this person knowing that they are unconscious. And that could be considered rape by that person. The next, you could deal with someone that is considered underage, and that society can call that statutory rape. So rape is a larger body of activities than chasing some woman down in an alley and ripping her clothes off. You follow what I'm saying? And having sex with her. So I think that rape should be looked at from a larger context before somebody criticizes my video of how vast the subject of rape really is. You follow?
Yeah, well, when you don't have an opportunity to talk to you about it, then, you know, people going to do that. They're going to break it down to how they see it and how they look at it from their perspective. So that's why you or anybody that's out here in the community that's speaking on stuff and making controversial statements should allow yourself to be, you know what I'm saying, not criticized, but spoken to about the statement. Then that way you can clarify, you know, similar to what you're doing now, whether one accepted or not, you know what I'm saying, that's another thing, but they can hear your clarity on it, that you were speaking on a grander stage than just taking some vagina, if that's what it is,
That's the
you
fact.
know.
I was speaking on they only looked at rape from what is the most heinous and most negatively depicted aspect of how it has been presented by society. And they got hung up on that particular dimension of it. And so hung up and so emotionally stuck on that they could not even comprehend the social-economic reality that's the underlying factor to why even that occurs. You follow?
So why didn't you do a part 2, or why didn't you just go with a more lengthier video to go on those paradigms in
People
which
got a short attention span. Somebody like you're interested. I'm able to deliberate a little more, but the average person has a short attention span. When they hear the word rape, that's it. They're not gonna sit and hear a 2-hour discourse, you know, on rape.
so
All they
was
can
I
see is a
correct?
woman running in an alley. You feel me? And her clothes getting ripped off her.
Well, me myself, I always talk about spiritual molestation, spiritual sodomy and stuff, and I do it like that
If a conscious
because
male deals with an unconscious woman, or a man that is so far intellectually superior than a woman that he's dealing with, even though she's grown, that could be considered rape.
yeah, I
But
understand.
are we just going off of what the white man say rape is, and based on law,
No, as
or
I
are
said,
we
I
dealing?
understand that. That's why me myself, when I do it, I said, well, y'all molesters, but y'all spiritually molesting people to bring clarity to the understanding of those out here that I feel are molesting people, but in a spiritual sense, not in the sense that they doing it like Africa Bambaataa. So I
Right.
understand what
I
you're
think
saying.
rape has been used as a weapon against a black man. You know, the Bill Cosby situation. Rape is ambiguous in a lot of instances
Tupac,
and has been a weapon
Mike
constantly
Tyson.
used.
Yeah,
And
Tupac,
my
Mike Tyson.
statements have neutralized some of its weaponization, the weaponization of sex against the black man.
Well, let me ask you a question, because you say you heard us speaking with Lex. So was I correct in saying that you was using the terminology to bring the senses of the people to a certain point where they'll be, you know, interested or engaged in the conversation in the manner that they were engaged in it, whether if they did it negatively or positively, using that terminology brought people, it made them engage in the conversation.
Exactly. You and I must agree that's a very broad conversation. That is nothing in a 15-minute video that could even begin to touch the tip of the iceberg of the vast conversation around rape. Is that big of a subject?
Well, now let's talk about the situation you had with making your controversial statement that I wanted red pill about, and you eventually put me on a video with the Seattle corner, what's his name, Richard Sherman. You know the statement I'm talking about, right?
Yeah,
I don't want
open
to.
season statement.
Yeah, that's the
I'm
statement.
clear.
Okay, so let's talk about that. What happened to you at that time? Did they come and detain you, or what
No,
type of
I was
conversation?
not detained at all, because the statement was just a warning. It was a prophetic statement, and I predicted what has transpired here recently with the police murders that we see. Did I not say that it was going to occur? So it was a prophetic statement. And nowhere in the video was I brandishing guns, or do they have any evidence or any way to say that I'm preparing for any types of acts of violence or orchestrating or participating in any orchestration of any violence against the institutions of law enforcement? Because I'm not. That was a warning. You follow? And clearly it was a warning that they did not take heed on. which is why they're in the situation that we find them in today, with so many of their fellow officers being executed.
Do you think it's strategically feasible to shoot those that didn't commit the crime, or would it be more feasible to find those who actually did, you know, the crime of shooting a black man unarmed and stuff?
Idealistically, you want to get those that commit the crime, but you and I both understand warfare. We understand warfare clear. If somebody's squad go at you, you gonna go hit anything moving, man. You don't have time to sort out who did this and who did that. If you got them colors on, you know you gonna get hit. That's just how it go down. That's why they need to check their house. Check your house, because anybody gonna get hit when it come down. There are no innocent. You feel me? You on this side or you on that side.
That goes to the statement that while so-called good cops, if they're good, not speaking up against the bad cops, basically.
Exactly. There's no such thing as a good cop in a bad institution.
Okay.
There's no such thing. That's like being a clean person in a dirty house. The dirt and the filth in the house is going to be on you. It's going to wear off on you. You're surrounded in it. You're a part of it. Nobody walks into a dirty house and say, but you clean. No, they say, no, this is a filthy situation. And cops today, they're in a very filthy situation, man. The law enforcement, white supremacy, they're in a very filthy situation, black or white, period. It's extortion, it's exploitation, all these tickets and these citations, and the prison industrial complex. The whole shit is filthy, man. All of it. And all of it will be dealt with in this time that we live in.
All right, well, I'm a ease off of some questions and things right now. Long as you're here, we're going to talk, though. I want to see if the brother D-Red got any questions.
But one last statement I want to make, though, is that you don't have... These white supremacists are arguing all the time within their institutions. Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, Trump, all of them. They're debating their disagreements, but we know they're all in the bed together. Anything can be debated. We don't have to agree on anything. We don't have to agree on pedophilia. We don't have to agree on homosexuality. We don't have to agree on rape. We don't have to agree on any of it. Whether we agree or disagree, we are all in the same situation as a people. Period. And whether our agreements or disagreements on these minor issues are not going to represent a dramatic change when you are being hunted down by an enemy that sees you all the same. You follow? Whether you're a Hebrew, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Christian, whether you're a Buddhist, a 5%ers in the Moorish Science Temple of America, it doesn't matter. You all looked at as the same. Whether you're a homosexual, whether you're straight, it doesn't really matter. You all looked at as the same. So either we're going to stand up and fight together, or we're going to let the petty disagreements, because we're unable to have civilized discourses and debates and arguments, you follow, divide us so that the enemy can hunt us down and destroy us. You follow? Anything
follow.
in my book can be argued and debated, even with the whole African Bambaataa situation, which is nothing but allegations. To me, it hasn't been proven. But just say the African Bambaataa actually did do these things. What if he disagrees with you on homosexuality, or disagrees with you on pederast? Well, we disagree. Are we still in a black nation? Should we still be arguing and debate? Should we debate our disagreements and argue? Or have we become so religious and so polarized till we have become sub-nations within our nation where we can't even come together based on the strength of being melanated?
Well, in the sense of having order, law, order, things in the proper perspective. What do you see? Do you see majority rule? Though we may disagree and debate, just like Bernie and Hillary did at some point, when the majority say, well, we want Hillary and not Bernie, then, you know, most of what Bernie said either gets, you know, usurped by Hillary now and brought into her administration, if she end up being a president, or brought into her campaign, or Bernie's message and stuff just goes by the wayside. So in saying that, if me and you are running for office in this community or whatever, and we do disagree on different things, when the majority say what caused the man, or Israel Doctrines the man, and what he got planned for the next 4 years should be supreme, then do your message either fall by the wayside if I don't pick it up, and you just stop, and support my message now? How do we do that as a community organization or whatever? Because in the black community, we're not dealing with this type of government framework and stuff, because we haven't governed shit in that capacity before, really.
I agree with you, and you're making a very good point. The thing is that until we deal with the fact that we're under attack, there's nothing that we can organize. We're not in a position to organize because we're for that type of organization. We are in a position where it's desperate survival for us as a people. We don't have the laxness that they do to have their type of political, infrastructure. So what we need to do now is we have to come together in a more simple way. We can't be too complex when our mere survival is on the hand. It's like if you ain't got no food to eat, you're not going to go into your kitchen and come up with a complex meal if you're starving to death, right? You got to survive. So you got to eat the most simplest thing that's going to aid in your survival, that which has the protein in it, that which is going to at least get you to be able to prepare a complex meal if necessary. That's where we're at as a people. We can't be so complex. We overlook the fact that our survival is at hand, and that we must come together based on the simplest of connection that we have in order to confront that trying to take us out because of that simple reason. You follow?
Yeah.
That's where we're at. That's where we're at right now, with the whole organizing thing as far as democracy. And I'm glad you brought it up. That's very powerful. But I call democracy demobocracy, because just because the mass, and it contradicts itself, because if it's supposed to represent the minorities, why is the majority? How can you be for the majority and the minority at the same time? In the case of us as a conscious community, in the case of those that are awakened, we are the minority. But if the majority say they want a liquor store, if the majority say they want crack cocaine in their neighborhood, right? Or Molly or oxycodone or, whatever, if they say they want that, then that's what they get. The problem is that the minority is not being considered as a people or as a cultural group. So democracy lets the mob say that the minority is not important. We all voted for Obama, and even you all's issues of who Obama does not represent, just shut the hell up and ride with Obama, right? So the minority is being ran over because of the majority. And in our so-called conscious community, it's just all out goddamn anarchy. It's just a mob just running wild. Who got the most views? Who connected to the most people? Who got the most money? It's not about the principles or the ideas of nation building at all. It's a popularity contest. You follow? It's a cult of popular personality.
Well, I believe.
Well, brother, see the whole problem with that is, I'm sitting back listening. So you can't have it both ways. You can't criticize the fact that people following cult personalities, but then we don't want to hold these cult personalities accountable. Because you know what I mean. You can't say on one breath that we.
You breaking up, D.
Yeah, my thing.
Basically, people that we consider leaders ain't leaders, because most of these people, they got a lot of these YouTube channels or blog talk radio shows or what have you. These people ain't got
They got their feet on the ground, is what he gonna say possibly.
I would disagree that they're not real leaders, because you gotta ask the people that follow them. Ask the people that follow them, are they real
ain't in
leaders?
the neighborhood.
D, you breaking up some. You might need to change position in the house.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? So what I'm
Yeah.
saying is
Noble
people
said,
ain't got their
hold up, D. Noble said he will disagree that they're not leaders in the community. You got to ask they following. So
well, I mean, again though, a leadership. I mean, me learning from my grandmama and them who actually put their feet on the ground, who actually affected change. If you're not affecting change where you at, and when you go back and listen to Malcolm X, his message to the grassroots, you know what I mean? Them people started where they was at, and they networked with other people who was building where they was at, and they
Right.
was finna and they was finna do something something monumental with their march on Washington. You got people right now who claim to be leaders who are not leading the people nowhere. See, a leader has a
But
goal,
this is
has a
this is where
vision.
I
He's trying to take something. He's trying to take his people somewhere.
this is where I
These people ain't
disagree
taking
with
nowhere.
you at. Just because you could be a leader, you don't have to affect change for everybody. You don't have to affect change for those that follow you. Everybody ain't gonna follow you. Everybody is not a leader for everybody. The Mormons went and set up Utah. All Christian denominations didn't follow the Mormons, but that didn't mean Joseph Smith was not a leader. But Joseph Smith didn't affect change for the entire Christian society or Christian world, but he set up Utah for the Mormons. You follow? So you don't have to affect change for everybody to be a leader. You don't have to affect change for those of whom you represent.
But
and
again,
you
like
can
I said,
also be an ineffective leader, meaning that the
Not
blind is following the blind because your leadership is leading people somewhere, but where are you leading them to? If you're leading them to a gas chamber or to a slaughter, then once again, you're a leader and the people are following, but you're not taking them anywhere that's conducive in the sense of
and
what they're looking for.
but that's relative.
but
So for me to go
listen,
and say that Bambaataa
but
is not conducive and leading people to where they need to go is to speak for those who follow him. I can't speak for the people that follow him. He might lead them exactly to where they want to go. So for me to say he's not a leader would be not understanding the relativity of what a leader is.
But by definition, it says a guiding or directing head of an army or movement or political group. Ain't none of these people
Come on.
got no army. Ain't none of these people creating no movement. And ain't none of these people doing nothing political. So again, these people ain't leaders. That's my whole damn point. You see what I'm saying? So we
How you
think,
define an army?
huh?
You got Twitter armies, you got Facebook armies, you got MySpace armies, and you got political groups
But
with different political agendas and desires, and these individuals may be championing those political ideas that those particular individuals have.
But again, where's first you're gonna have to show me the political strategy of those people that you call them. What's the political strategy? You
A
gonna
lot of
say
times, their political strategy,
the House of Conscience don't have a political strategy. All they want to do
their
is debate
political
doctrine.
strategy, group.
That's not politics.
The political strategy for every leader's for their group to come up, whatever the group is. And House of Consciousness have came up. Sarnetta had a $20 camera and a VCR cassette. Now he got a $1,000 camera. Now those have come up. Everybody that's following Sarnetta has come up. His
That's
political
economics.
agenda has helped
But
their
that's
capital.
economics. That's not
But
politics.
that's what they need. They wanted economic leadership. That's what they wanted.
But again,
And they got it, and they got results.
the leadership by definition has nothing to do with economics. That's what I'm trying to say. We
Well,
are
hold up,
misconstruing. We're misconstruing. We're misconstruing.
We're
Huh?
moving fast. We got to slow down so we can deal with all obstacles. How many parts of that definition did you give when he said army? Like he said, I mean, you got the HOK zombies. That's an army. That's why they trying to say, look, we got the numbers. We have
Come on, brother.
more people following us. So that's, in a sense, that's their army, and they willing to go to war and cut
Yes,
you out
sir.
for Sarnetta, threaten your life for Sarnetta, as they done did within the black and stuff. So he do have somewhat of an army. Not a standing army, but an army. So that's one part of it. Now, what was the other two?
Movement or political group.
Well, I would agree with Noble in the sense that, you know, they thing is about economics, get that money.
Okay, but
Commerce is what preachers, and that's what all of them have, came zombified
That's a fact.
with money.
Okay, but again, what y'all are basically doing is twisting the definitions to fit. These dudes ain't got no damn. A army is an army. You know what I'm saying? The Crips and Bloods, the Vice Lord's disciple, those were armies. Because it's, and I'm gonna use it in the sense of a Chicago definition when they said when they would say the GDs folks and all them, they would say we're not a gang, we're an organization. You see what I'm saying? They would separate themselves from Crips and Bloods who would do random violence of attack, but you had to actually go through a chain of command to get stuff done. So now,
can I ask you this, brother? Do the Jews have an army?
Huh?
A standing army?
Do the who? Jews?
Yes, sir.
Do the Jews? Yeah, they got a standing army. Israel got a standing army.
Who is it? Who's the Jews in America standing army?
Who's the Jews in America standing army? No, in America they don't have a standing army. But they got
Are they a political group with leaders?
Hold on.
Are they a political group with leaders?
Yeah, AIPAC is a political group.
Exactly.
What are you talking about?
Same as the House of Consciousness.
And hold on, but they actually engage in policy. They actually engage in changing policy. They affect policy on a global level. That's what makes it political.
You don't think that?
And then hold on. You don't think they affect policy? No, they don't. So they don't even deal with people in Harlem. What is he talking about? They don't even deal with people in Harlem.
One second.
And then hold on.
Still going up.
Hold on. Let me finish.
Somebody's affecting policy.
Let me finish.
Everybody
And the Jews. Hold on, Carl. Let me finish answering the question. Then the Jews actually police their own neighborhoods. So yes, we can say that they got a standing army. So again, you trying to compare yourself to people, and these people ain't doing none of that.
Do the homosexuals have,
the
LGBT community have a standing army?
Yeah.
Hold up. I'm gonna have to mute both of y'all because y'all won't take a chance to take a breath, so the conversation can be conducive to whatever outcome it should have here. Now look, this is what's going on that we need to deal with for us understanding, and I believe the people need to understand. You can match a person, meaning you can agree with them, or you can mismatch a person, meaning you can disagree with them. Now, when you use terms like leader, like I said, you can have a false leader. You put false in front of it, saying that they're a leader, but they're false. You can put other words on that term leader to shape it and mold it in different ways, meaning that though you may say he's a leader, and this is what a leader implies right here, you can put other terms on it to maneuver the thought. And that's how most people do when they want to mismatch you. So to match you, one's saying, yes, they're leaders. But now let's look at the opposite of it, meaning that I have the ability, or I want you to take the time out to look at it from another perspective. So when all of this that we talking about is polite to false leader, we use pseudo because that's what people love in the community now. He's a pseudo leader, but he's still a leader. You know what I'm saying? Or revolutionary. He revolutionizing stuff for some bullshit in commerce and wearing shiny shoes and shit like Puff did with rap. He took it from, baggy jeans and hoodies and stuff to fucking shiny suits. So the thing here is to look at it from both perspectives as possible as we take this dialogue further. So let's try to do that and not just stay in one frame of mind or one thing and saying that that's just it, because that's going to bring a clog to the conversation. It ain't going to be able to flow that good. But now let's get it in. Y'all can unmute yourself.
My whole point is, again, what I'm talking about is, if we're gonna talk about quote unquote conscious community, then that means you got to have people moving in a conscious manner. You see what I'm saying? And you can't. What made a brother like Malcolm such an effective leader, and even according to the FBI, that he was the closest to being a black messiah, was his fucking moral compass. Period. So, because once they feel like they cannot compromise you or destroy what you build based upon you compromising your moral fabric, then that's what makes you the most of a threat. King wasn't as much of a threat as Malcolm. They didn't fear him as much as they feared Malcolm, because they had him compromised because of because him whoring with the white women and sleeping around and doing all that. They had him, and they knew they didn't fear him as much because they had him. Because the minute you get out of pocket, too much out of pocket, we're gonna release all this on you. So again, you can never have no leader who is morally bankrupt. Period. So for people to say that you can't that we should have leadership that's infallible, fuck that. Then he ain't no goddamn leader. He don't need to be leading no goddamn body. Because he can't even lead himself, and I agree with Zaza Ali on that. If a man can't control his loins, he don't need to be in a leadership position. If a man don't have self-discipline, how can he teach you self-discipline? Don't even make no damn sense. I mean, and for people who call themselves believing in the scriptures, nobody should even be subscribing to that, because the scriptures, it tells you, let your light shine, let your actions. A good tree can't bear bad fruit. All that. Right, but so for anybody to be man, that's bullshit.
Hold up, do we not understand that there was false prophets and true prophets, that there was false leaders, bad leaders, and good leaders? The thing is, it's always the polarities in the situation. It's the opposite end. So you have to be able to see from both perspectives to be able to even counter the other one. So what you're saying is, when you have a corrupt leader, then his morals bad and he do this and do that, he's still a leader. He's just a corrupt leader. He's a fucked up leader. He's bad. If you're trying to do something good, he's bad for the good, because he's not a good leader in the sense of what good is defined as. But he's still a leader because he still got all these people following. So if you have a following, then that's it. That's why Twitter is created the way it is. It say you follow. So if I got 1 million followers on Twitter and they follow my every word, then whether if it's good or bad, I'm directing these people if they're following and not just clicking the button and say they following. But if they engaging in the conversation and participating and saying, yeah, I agree with Carl and I want to go that direction that he's going, whether if it's good or bad, I'm now directing them. And this is what we got to realize, that in our community, that's why I keep saying we have to take, whoever's supporting these people have to take their support away from them, because they giving them power by following the bullshit, whether if it's their talking points, whether if it's their whatever. They have captured their minds and hearts, and they're dictating to them, and their dictation to them cause them to dictate to us that y'all Hebrew Israelites ain't shit, or you Moors ain't shit, or if it ain't Kemet, it ain't popping, and if it ain't this, that's by circumstance that they're following this dude conversation. So I think we got to keep the conversation somewhat open. When you want to narrow it down or smother portions of it, then that's cool too, but we got to keep it where we able to deal with the flow of the conversation. Noble, you still with us, or you muted and unable to unmute yourself? It looked like he unmuted himself, but he's not speaking.
Can you hear me?
Nah, I hear you. So, let me ask both of y'all this so we can get a perspective of what a good leader is, and then we'll get the perspective of what a bad leader is. Then that way we can deal with the polarities of a good leader and a bad leader and the shit that's in between. So, Noble, you got the flow now. What would you consider modern day conscious community leadership? What would be a good leader nowadays? Then we're going to give it to D-Red. Then we'll go with a bad leader.
Can you hear me?
Yep, just heard you.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm glad you asked me that. That's a good question, because when you say we need a conscious leader, we both agree that the word, that conscious is ambiguous. If you ask 100 people what's conscious, you might get 50 different answers. So to say what a conscious leader is can fluctuate depending on what school of thought you're a part of and how metaphysical you want to go. When you say we need a moral leader, you got to realize that morality is relative based upon your religious beliefs and ideologies. If you're a Muslim, you have a morality. If you are a Christian, you have a certain morality. If you're a Hebrew or Israelite, you have a different morality. If you're Old Testament or New Testament, or you're a Shiite, or you're a Wahhabi, or a Sunni. So morality is relative. So you can't kick out somebody because their moral system doesn't agree with yours and you say, well, they're not a leader. That's why true black nationalist leadership doesn't deal with all that. It deals with the survival of the race. It deals with how we are being attacked, not on our own dominant Christian overlay on everybody's behavioral pattern or reality, or predominant Hebrew or predominant Muslim or whatever indoctrination an individual has. It obscures the struggle for nationalistic progress. Morality, relative, consciousness, all these terms are relative. And we're superimposing them on our people and then getting caught up in the disagreements of those different ideologies and not centralizing our force and our energy on dealing with our immediate survival as a race. So to me, a good leader is one who is not going to get distracted by all that. And whether Mike Brown was a Christian or a Hebrew Israelite or a Muslim, or Trayvon Martin was a Hebrew or New Testament or Old Testament, that it really doesn't even matter. That he was black and he was killed because he was black and a threat to white dominant society and murdered by race soldiers, that we really address that issue, to me, is more pertinent to black leadership. To me, any other type of leadership is religious leadership, moral leadership, inspirational leadership, but not black nationalistic centered leadership. That's my piece on that.
All right, D. You breaking up, or you?
Did you hear me?
I heard you. I'm looking for D Red to respond if he got a response. If not, I'll respond to it.
Can you hear me? Can you
Yeah,
hear me?
we now.
All right. All right. Let me hold on. Check this out. It says morality, conformity to rules or rights or conduct, moral or virtuous conduct, moral quality or character, virtue and sexual matters, chastity, a doctrine or system of morals, moral instruction, a moral lesson, precept, discourse, utterance, morality, play. All right. Now, every spiritual system that's relevant in the conscious community has a set of moral rules and regulations. If you subscribe to Kemet, you're gonna go by Ma'at. If you subscribe to the Sumerian doctrine, you're gonna go by the Code of Hammurabi. You're gonna go by the Code of Urkajit or the Code of Namu. If you're Israelite, you're gonna go by the law, statutes, and commandments. If you're Christian, you're gonna go by the Ten Commandments, and you're gonna try to go by the walk of Christ. There has not been a nationalistic, the foundation of nationalism, you know what I'm saying, or nationality we all know, based upon a written word, start with everywhere my blight. You know what I'm saying? Who started out a Christian and became a Muslim. It was picked up, you know what I'm saying, and the foundation of that in this hemisphere was started with brothers like Richard Allen of the African Methodist Episcopalian Church, Bishop Henry McNeil Turner, Edward Wilmot Blight, Henry Highland Garnett, all the way on up to Marcus Messiah Garvey, who most people, if you read his work, it's all going to be centered around what's acceptable and what's not. Period. We having this thing, Brother Tazariak, all them other cats up there, they had the thing about child molestation. That's not acceptable. So anytime, only thing is a set of morals is saying what's acceptable and what's not. You know what I'm saying? And if anything fucking go, then you basically got anarchy. So you're gonna have to set a standard of saying we don't mess with this. Period. We ain't messing with homosexuality. Period. We ain't dealing with child molestation. Period. You know what I'm saying? We ain't dealing with people beating on their women. Period. We ain't dealing with rape. Period. We ain't dealing with none of this because every great empire has failed when they got into as they became more morally bankrupt. They civilizations failed. You see what I'm saying? That's just historical fact. So for us to not want to have some moral absolutes is because we don't want to be held accountable for what the hell we do. Period. So I ain't trying to. Me personally, I know the history of this shit. So I'm not finna try to philosophize everything out of the way. I'm not finna do what the Greeks do and just try to make everything so abstract that no, morality is just a set of rules and regulations. You see what I'm saying? And you're going to have them to implement any successful society. Period.
Okay.
That ain't got nothing else to say.
So now, can we agree that the conscious community or the black community in our culture has been multicultural since they brought different fashions of blacks from different cultures into America? Meaning that you got multiculturalism amongst black people. And if we ain't figured that shit out yet, then that's part of our problem. So let's look at it, and I'm going to give it back to D, then it can bounce to Noble. Let's look at it from a multicultural perspective that at some point majority rules, but you have to rule over this multicultural aspect that we have going on in the community that it seems that niggas don't understand.
Well, I mean, you got to look at it like this. The bulk of our community is going to stem from Abrahamic faith. Even in the so-called black conscious community, the majority of the people are Israelites. Fact. Okay. Now, when you go from there, then after that, you would say some form of Islam, whether it's quote unquote traditional Islam, or if it would be factions or breakoffs from the Moorish Science Temple to I guess you can say the Nation of Islam. So now, then after that, of course, the largest group is going to be Christian. So that makes up your largest group of the black community, period. You know what I'm saying? Now, within that structure, just that structure alone, they're gonna adhere to similar laws or similar views upon particular issues. Homosexuality will be one. Thou shalt not kill will be another one. Rape, things of that nature. Those 3-4 groups are going to automatically be united on those common core issues. Now, when you bring in the people of Kemet who say that everything came from them, though that sense of morality came from them, when they're gonna say that, hey, a man should not lay with man, that's in my eye. You see what I'm saying? They're gonna tell you that. They're gonna tell you that you shouldn't defame the name of God. You should not. You shouldn't steal from your brother. So the same it's gonna be encompassed, the same moral compass. So again, we're gonna have to look at the simple fact that that's been a part of our culture since beginning. We've always had these rules and regulations. So that's some new shit. That's some new Greek shit. Greeks were the one that's tried to esotericize every goddamn thing out of.
But hold up, then you keep going on too long about it. You got to hit the points a little better. At least for me, because I ain't got a short attention span, but because we dealing with multiculturalism and dealing with that, you have subcultures within the culture too. So when I'm saying that, the thing is, as you say, okay, the Abrahamic faiths, okay, but they're not in leadership. You would say people like Politis in leadership. He claimed to be a pantheist or atheist. So he's fucking up even the Abrahamic traditions, and those people still giving them their loyal support and money and shit, and watching him debate against the Bible and fight against the Bible.
But again, how would you say that he's in leadership? You see what I'm saying? Again, what did I just say? The bulk of the black community is Christian. The bulk of the black community ain't listening to plight. That's just a small fact. That's a small faction of the Nuwabians that left with him after Dr. York.
We understand
Period.
that too.
So he's not a leader on the mass scale. So what are you talking about?
Okay, well, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Let me toss it over to Noble.
For one thing, the conscious community is not just the Abrahamic faith. It's not that, it's more complex than that. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having debates if we all could unequivocally agree on a set of ideas as far as being the rules and regulations. There would be no debates going on because we would be clear on that particular set of rules. So then you got to ask, well, who's going to set this set of rules and who's going to govern it, and what faith are they going to be? Are they going to be Muslims? Are they going to be Hebrews? Are they going to be Kemetic? A lot of times, the Kemites are being accused of homosexuality by the Israelites, and certain loose glyphs that may indicate or imply other things that are anti-Toric, the Torah. You follow, anti the laws and the statutes and commandments. So it's just not as clear cut as he made it sound. You have atheists within the conscious community. You have people into the esoteric stuff. You have Satanists within the black conscious community. I mean, I think the conscious community is bigger than he may be aware of the different ideologies and groups that exist within that community. And as far as Polite not being a leader, I'll have to ask, well, who is the black person that the masses of black people are following? Because they're not, some would argue if they're following Farrakhan, are they following Jesse Jackson, are they following Obama? I think enough people have to follow you to be a leader. I don't think the masses of black people have to follow you in order to qualify as a leader. I just think you need enough people. And I think Polite has enough people to be qualified as a leader. When I look at the views that I see in the House of Consciousness, I think he has a pretty much somewhat of a mass following.
Again, I hear you, but nobody said that that we didn't have other groups. I was talking about the predominant groups. I mean, of course,
I don't think that's predominant.
I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. I mean, even if when you talk to people who was at those various debates up there. First of all, let me address the debate thing. They're not debating morality. They're debating.
Yes, they are. They said Kim is gay.
Hold on. That was one debate. You know what I mean? So the masses of most of their debates are stuff like is the woman is the Bible, God of the Bible, a woman? You know what I mean? It's shit that don't mean shit. So let's get that straight. The majority of their debates ain't about that. The Kemet on trial thing.
The majority of debates on homosexuality.
Again, the Kemet on trial debate was about homosexuality, and Nazi brought up a few homosexual points when he debated SETI. And most of the Kemet on trial stuff, a lot of that came from the Nazi SETI debate. You see what I'm saying? So now that we got that out the way, because again, the Ali Muhammad Polite debate wasn't on morality. So the vast majority of them debates on the historicity of this and that and the other. Now,
right. Well, let's stick here right quick because this is the basis of the conversation that you're saying that a leader got to have morality within this multicultural diaspora known as conscious community or whatever. And I think Noble agrees. He's just saying with all these different multicultural aspects to morality, then it becomes, kind of blurry. But that's the point. You made a great point by saying that they're not debating morality in the community. Noble point out one pretty much debate. The rest of them won that because if we go to it and you just look at SETI and Polite, when he brought up that sodomy misinterpreted, that went into morality and that went into you're following a man that teaches homosexuality is cool. So we know that has been one of the biggest moral issues in the community, right? Can we all agree? I just want to make sure we can all agree.
When you talk about the black woman being God, that's a moral issue because the scriptures have a certain, it legislates the role of the woman in the relationship in the family and the household. So if you come talking about the black woman being God, is that not a moral?
I would agree with you that that's a moral issue, but I don't want to get sidetracked on that one. I want to deal with the fact that now with the Bambaataa issue on the table, it brings us back to Bambaataa being homosexual, saying that he's a pedophile of young men and not young women. And as I've been stating, and Noble, I would like for you to chime in on this, Zulu Kemetic Moor is what the Zulu Universal Zulu Nation is called. So now, would that be more of what Irritated Genie and Tazariak ran from this weekend, or would that have been the issue to deal with that amongst the Kemetic Moor, known as the Zulu Nation, Moors known as the Zulu Nation, that their morality, as we talking about, dealing with that situation is lacking?
That may be his argument, but if you look at the relativity of morality, it's an ongoing, open-ended argument, and it's a denationalizing argument because it has nothing to do with our patriotic to the nation that we are part of in order to fight against the injustices against our people.
Nah,
Well,
we
that's
can't
not
say
going to stop
that
people from
because
getting shot down in our community, whether they
I
gay or
understand
straight.
that. That's the people that's already that been birthed into the nation. But if you're not birthing people into the nation, then the nation is going to dwindle in numbers, and the other nation is going to win by default because they have
It's
more
another
numbers.
argument to believe that homosexuality has such predominant influence over our community, and I disagree with that. There's a lot of heterosexuality in our community. There's not enough homosexuality to indicate some type of genocide through homosexuality. That's spookism.
Well, it's not spookism. I mean, when the World Population Conference, Global 2000 Conference said it was going to promote homosexuality in the black community in order to curb population growth. Now, when you factor that in with the high abortion rate, we could have been 36% of the population, but we still at 12% based on those two factors alone. So again, now when you add the black genocide, that goes back to morality. Because if we had those moral fiber, we wouldn't be killing our own. So I mean, you gotta have no nation, great nation in world history has survived without a moral code. Period.
Right. But even with those numbers, you still have to say we outproduce. You know, there's no argument that we outproduce our counterparts, the Europeans, today.
But
We outproduce.
but had we had that moral compass, you would be able to reflect that and not just be able to say that for face value. Because right now saying we outproduce them, but yet we are killing our babies, don't mean nothing. Saying that we outproduce them, but we killing each other like flies in Chicago, don't mean nothing.
I agree that black murder. I agree totally with you that black murder is a great in our community, but not through homosexuality. It's black on black murder. It's abortion. That's what's killing us as a
white
people.
supremacy. That if they're not killing you with this, they're killing
exactly
you with they're killing you with this, they're killing with you that. But what we on now is the moral issue. And so once again, what D was trying to argue, I have to argue against pretty much myself too. That though the majority of the people are in the Abrahamic faith, that Scott Netta that say fuck the Abrahamic faiths is running a house of consciousness that's getting a lot of damn numbers and people coming over there being swayed by the conversation and things that they having on their platform.
So how is the Abrahamic faith the dominant face of the conscious community if the number one face is going against the Abrahamic faith?
Again, the same way that WWE still get good numbers. People go over there just to hear the rhetoric. You don't hear nobody over there talking about anything other than something that's gonna get the pot stirred. The prime example, they was at the damn Tazariak cookout shit, but instead of them focusing on the child molestation and the cops killing us, they were still talking about that the Exodus happened. That's why.
I would say the issue in our community is black murder. And when you go anti-homosexuality, you are actually promoting black murder. So you're gonna add to black on black crime by being anti-homosexual versus pro-black life and standing up for nationalism as a people. Because more people, I mean, if you really listen to Irritated Genie and you follow them all the way through, you're gonna go out and start killing homosexuals. So you add into the black on black crime, the black on black murder. When black people are not dying of more black people are dying from black on black crime than they are dying from homosexuality.
That's a sound argument, and that can be argued and dealt with. But let's kind of stay in the lane that we are now. That at the end of the day, we have a multicultural community. The
Yes, sir.
Abrahamic faith may be the majority of the people for some form of the Bible, the Quran, Torah, some form of the Bible. But somehow or another, their platforms is not getting the support it needed to
Dominant platform.
allow
Well, I mean,
the fade and black and all of that. So
well,
the
no, I think, but we got to look at it. We got to look at it like this too. A lot of stuff, a lot of things come with whoever gets out there first. You see what I'm saying? When it comes to this social media, if I've been doing this for 15 years, you only been doing it 5, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna have more followers than you.
No,
Unless
that's not true.
I said in most cases, I didn't say all the time. I said in most cases. Sarnetta had a jump on folks by a long damn time. He had a jump on folks. You see what I'm saying? So you got to put a lot of that. You got to put a lot of things in perspective. You see what I'm saying? So numbers in and of itself don't necessarily mean that everybody who subscribed to his channel. I'm subscribed to his channel. I don't believe nothing he say. So again, you can't just look at he got all these followers. So everybody who follow him believe everything he say. Some people, a lot of people are following him just to critique what he say.
But that's not the key. That's not the key. If you
That is the
follow,
key.
listen, cause remember the shit is economics. The nigga with the most money can flash that money to poor ass people that ain't got money wins the game. Cause they want to figure out how to get to the money. So when Polite showing money, Sinetta showing the bins, they got them. They like the drug dealer. Oh, the drug dealer ain't good in the community. But the drug dealer know how to get money, and fuck it. I want to get money. I want to ride in the Benz. I want to do that. So I want to be the rapper. I want to be the drug dealer. I want to be fucking Sinetta and Polite. Whatever the fuck it do to get to the money. So when this is why Lex said they should boycott them and everybody unsubscribe and stop watching this shit. Because what you do, you're supporting them whether you feel you supporting them or not. Because you're making sure he get paid off his fucking content. If he get paid off his content, as Noble said, he went from a $10 camera and video shit to this now. Then he gonna go even further the more people go watch the bullshit. WWE rakes in a whole lot of money with a bullshit ass thing that you know is fake because people support it. That's like supporting fucking white supremacy, as we was talking about earlier. If you keep giving them your money or supporting what the fuck they talk about, you're only getting them financially and everything else that make them superior better than you. You take certain shit away from the system, it kills the system. So the conscious community system is ran by the House of Consciousness. That's my argument. We talk about Tariq Nasheed, his shit, Nasheed, his shit bigger than Sinetta's, or Tommy's shit bigger than Sinetta's, or whatever. Sinetta shit has the motherfucking crazy ass fans that's strictly black. Tommy got some white, Nasheed got some white, and this and that and everything else. Sinetta got a little white, but mostly he for that ghetto fabulous ass crowd. And that's how he getting them, bringing them some ghetto shit, and they buying it. So once again, the Abrahamic faiths got to do damn near like the Bible say, come the fuck up out of the house of conscience. And this is what we was going in talking about these Hebrew Israelites and different stuff, giving their power to the pale Arab and this, that, and the other, because they're not watching you go at Hebrew Israelites if Hebrew Israelites are not on your phone. So these things got to be, like I said, we got to be strategists, and we got to understand the different dynamics of what the fuck is going on and how these things are affecting us.
Well, like I said, I mean, my whole thing is, I hear you. I agree with you to a certain degree, but at the same time, I look at it like this. So I never know he need Hebrew Israelites. That's only the reason why he's seen the turnout. I mean, because look, my grandma always told me, ain't nobody no better, no worse than you. So I paid attention to the turnout with the Morris debate. I mean, it was some more showed up. I think they pretty much kind of filled up all the seats, but they didn't fill up the damn room. So Sarnetta realized he needs the Hebrew Israelites in order to exist, because we feel that Kemet on trial shit was packed. And he ain't had nothing packed like that before
Sell
or
out
since.
Hebrew Israelites.
Huh?
You need to sell out Hebrew Israelites. Nasi sold that debate to the people by saying this is going to be the best or greatest damn debate you ever heard, the best debate you ever heard. And the people said, our leader, Nasi, promised us a damn good debate. So therefore, I'm going to go see this great debate. I want to be there. It's the greatest show ever. I need to be there. And they sold a fucking debate like that.
Yeah. Like I said though. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers gotta understand though that again, Sarnetta knows he needs the Hebrew Israelites. That's why you don't see him trying to get no debate between the 5%ers. He don't try to get no debate against he ain't trying to debate the Moors no more. He's trying to get the Israelites back in the ring because that's where the money at. I mean, it's just you talking about economics. No, that's the whole point.
The money's there if they support Sarnetta. And they support Sarnetta by the bullshit Hebrew Israelite that they get to say, come support me, because I'm rolling with Sarnetta and I'm going to be on Sarnetta platform. Come over here and watch it. The same thing with the Pale Arab. That's what you got to understand, that, once again, they're running these, just like we say the Pale Arab going to be sitting over their information, Sarnetta sitting over their information. Why did they start Maccabees TV? Because they said this motherfucker editing in our shit and won't let what we want out. So how the fuck, once again, in our laws, in our covenant, our commandments, say don't sit no motherfucker over you. It's not a no brethren. So once again, if we gonna talk morals and codified law of the Bible and stuff, these niggas setting people over them that ain't supposed to sit over them.
Because you go back to what we said though. All of niggas. I mean, I hate to say this. Oh, I hate to say this. But you always say them niggas some bitches. Point blank, period. Ain't nothing else to be said. Cause like you said, it say don't sit nobody again. You know what I'm saying? And it's coming down to the point where the only motherfucker out of the New York Israelites that I respect is fucking Hashar. Cause he don't be on none of the motherfuckers platform like that. He don't. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like he the only motherfucker you can really respect. Cause the rest of them New York niggas some hoes. Just point blank, period. You know what I'm saying? They you know what I'm saying? They either hoeing out to Basim or they hoeing out to Sarnetta. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, the scripture say you ain't supposed to set nobody that ain't your brother over you. And the fact that you got to go sit on another nigga couch in another nigga house, you put him over you. The fact that you depended on another motherfucker to promote your shit, you putting them over you. You see what I'm saying?
The supremacy over you.
Oh, exactly. The fact that you got to go do a PowerPoint, which don't make no fucking sense when you. No, show you how mind boggled I am with this shit. Maccabee